Greetings, viewers and our subscribers. And in Urdu, Nazreen Mubarak, आपको अस्सलाम वालेकुम. Nice to meet you. आज बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक है हमारे पास. Pakistan और Saudi Arabia. Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have a long-term defense understanding. Yesterday, or a couple of days, 2 days ago, after the Doha summit, our Prime Minister and our Army Chief went to Riyadh. And they got a really purple royal welcome. And a defense treaty pact between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan was signed. This pact, not a lot of details are there, but this pact entails, an attack on one country will be considered the attack on the other. And fundamentally, if we are attacked in Pakistan, Saudi Arabia will come, and the aggressor, whoever the aggressor is, will fight together. And if Saudi Arabia is attacked, then Pakistan will come and help Saudi Arabia fight with the aggressor. Fundamentally, that's what it is. But let's look a little deeper. What kind of help can Pakistan and provide Saudi Arabia, and what kind of help Saudi Arabia can provide Pakistan? Saudi Arabia probably has about 125,000 troops, maybe 200. And they have about extra military people, paramilitary people, about 125,000. Besides that, there's about 3,000 American troops. I was thinking that they have a lot more than 3,000, probably, or places crawling with American troops. But no, it's about 3,000 American troops, not a whole lot. However, a couple of things when we look at here, what exactly how can Saudi Arabia help Pakistan? I think primarily it is financial. And secondly, it's diplomatic. Thirdly, they do have a fleet of F-15s, which is a good air superiority fighter, but very limited in BVR range. Saudi BVRs are probably 60 kilometers or less, because the Americans, AMRAAM, on the Israeli F-15s have a range of about 100, 120 kilometers. So the Americans always give the other powers besides Israel a shorter range BVRs. Now, would Pakistan like this arrangement if they come? I mean, extra aircraft do help, no problem about it. But with the Pakistani BVRs, we are sitting at 300 and going up. So it basically is Pakistan which is going to come to the help of Saudi Arabia. Now let's take a look at what does that mean? I mean, if you look at the map, if you look at this map, which is Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, here's Israel. A little small over there. And Saudi Arabia is very close to it. Pakistan is sitting over here. Let's get on with Google Earth here. If you start looking at Google Earth, you'll find out that Israel is somewhere here. Okay? And Pakistan is somewhere over here. Now, that's about 3,000 kilometers. So obviously, we are not going to have land battles. We are not going to have people going up in space and arriving here and having a battle here, or Israelis. So there's no land fighting. Now, well, let's see. Any sea fighting? Nope. No sea fighting. So what is the areas of fighting we're talking about? We are talking about aerial, PAF versus Israeli Air Force, and Israeli Mossad and Shin Bet against ISI. So basically, there's going to be a intelligence war being conducted between Israel and Pakistan. And this war probably already is called the shadow war. It probably is already starting. I think Israelis will try to penetrate us. We will also try to penetrate a lot in this area. For your own reference, Pakistan does operate towards the west, and it's got, we concentrate on India, and the one goes west. And there have been reports that Pakistan has acted as far as Greece, Athens, and Cyprus, mostly in support of Turkey, probably. So we have some structure here, and we have some things here. However, Israelis have a very good relationship with the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait. I think Bahrain also had relations with them, but I think they're a little stung. And no relationship over here. So we're going to see a lot of Israelis' influence or their structures here in the Gulf states. But I think they're going to get very very skittish about these guys after the Qatar attack. So this is going to be one is an intelligence war, and the second one is the Air Force war. Now we will analyze both of them and the pros and cons. However, one thing I'd like to do is I want to come back because there's a couple of things which somebody sent me a note and then said, we are not being real. This is pipe dream, this Saudi Arabia contract. And I disagree respectfully. But anyway, we will delve into that too. But first, let me show you exactly where the American troops are and where the Saudi bases are. Okay. Saudi American bases are in the region. This is where they are. Jordan about 3,000, Kuwait 13,000, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, Oman, and Saudi Arabia only has 3,000. So not a whole lot of American footprint in Saudi Arabia. All right. Now, the next one is very important. These are the Saudi air bases here. So when the Pakistan Air Force starts gearing up, we are going to be sitting within striking range of Israel. And Israel won't be in striking range of us because unless they go to India. I'll repeat again. When Pakistan Air Force is sitting in Saudi Arabia, we will be within striking range of Israel. Our jets can go there and bomb if required. Our jets can intercept Israelis within their territory possibly. And a lot of people say, you're making very tall statements. No, I'm not. We're going to get into that a little bit later too. Okay. Now let me bring the Google map back on. Now, if you take a look here, you're talking Saudi Arabia sitting right about here. At Tabuk, we're sitting right across Sharm el-Sheikh. Think Royal Preserve, the Mall Air Base, huge big one, lot of depth. And I think if you take a look at Israel, if they want to go to India to come and harass us, well, they'll have to, they can't go like this. I don't think we'll give them more flight rights, and I don't think anybody else will. And at the end of the day, they'll have to come through here, and wherever they go, we'll be watching out for them. But the other way is they come from Sharm el-Sheikh, go down this way, right next to Yemen and the Houthis, then go this way, almost 7,000 to 8,000 kilometers. So the question of Israelis actually bringing the Air Force over here to give a Pakistani attack is not going to happen. Most of the air-to-air fighting is going to occur over the Arabian Peninsula or over the Middle East. So And I think we got the picture of what that entails. Okay. So if we look at this map right back here, uh, this is the map: Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and Israel. Now we'll get into the next stage exactly when we're going to face off with Israel. It's primarily going to be in two domains: the intelligence as well as the Air Force war. But let me add a point here. There is an old Sun Tzu phrase: if you don't know your enemy and you don't know yourself, you lose every time. If you know yourself, you don't know your enemy, you lose half the time. If you know your enemy but don't know yourself, again, lose half the time. But if you know yourself and you know your enemy, you will win. So what we have here is the intelligence war is something which we will have to win. And we have seen our advantages, we have seen how the Israeli intelligence works. They have what is called the octopus doctrine. That doctrine means whichever state they penalize, they want to go after. And we're going to bring the Google map back on. Wherever they went, whether it was Lebanon, they first decimated their top leadership, Hassan Nasrallah, the army chief, and then they went down the ranks. Exploded. Same thing they did with Syria. And the same thing they repeated with Iran. Now, when we go into this intelligence war with them, they're going to go for our leadership first and then the second step. In this case, I think the first enemy is going to be what they're going to go after is here, because they can't do bombing over here. So I think I delved in the area that intelligence war is extremely, extremely important. Okay. So second thing, you can't look at this pact in isolation. What we have is an confrontation of Iran with Israel and the West and America. And that revolves around enrichment of Iran, of uranium. They will not allow it to have, they think that he has about 450 kilograms, and the Israelis have already made a claim that they found out where it is. And if Iran does to do something with it, they will take action. Now, this is Mossad. Now, the Iranians basically know this too. And they're trying to maintain the right to enrich. But I don't think, even Soviet Union has said, Iran, no enrichment. I think it's all the stance of every country around the world, everywhere, that they can't enrich. So whichever way this ends, it'll end with Iran not enriching. Now, the clock of the sanctions, snapback sanctions, where nobody can even sell a pin to Iran, that'll happen by the end of October. The three countries have already started that clock. Now, if Iran agrees to all the inspections and everything else, it'll be as intrusive as they did with Libya. So, and Iran will try and resist that. If they don't, and I think when they don't, Israel and the states and even the European countries will then use force against them. And no matter what people think, that's going to be pretty ugly, not good. Now, there's one thing I'd like to bring to your attention. There is, as you know, at my earlier ones, I had mentioned to you guys that Pakistan is a pivot state for both United States as well as China. And the reason is this: they both have exactly more or less the same interests as for each other. And most of it rotates around in the Middle East. And you will ask us, what is that? Okay, I will share that with you also. It revolves around one little piece called the Straits of Hormuz, which is right here. It's about a short waterway through which almost 30% of the oil flows. Iranians have previously threatened to shut it down. Agar kuch hua. Now, if you look at the amount of forces, besides Pakistan, nobody has the ability to go in there and open it up again. UAE, no. Qatar, no. Bahrain, no. Americans, people would love Americans to come here because same reason as they were in Afghanistan. But that is what both China and USA. With this pact, we may start saying, no, this is a Muslim country. We can't do this, that. But with the defense pact of Saudi Arabia, we are ability to say no to Saudi Arabia because the Iranians attack their tanker or something else would be an aggression. That's why the word aggression was used. If they have an aggression against Saudi Arabia, we will have to intervene on their part. And that is exactly in the interest of China and USA that these zones stay open. Okay. Europe also wants this. By any chance, if this gets closed, the oil prices will skyrocket and the Russians will have windfall to secure their war against Ukraine, and they don't want that. So that is the need for that. Now I'll go quickly and share some things with you in terms of our intelligence stack up. I've done basically a good matrix. I'll show it to you between the two countries, Israel and Iran. Israel and Pakistan. I've done that. And basically, Mossad, like ISI, is an external based. And mostly Mossad has higher profile operations against different organizations like 72 Olympics and Adolf Eichmann, the war criminal from Nazi area. However, they face a lot of international scrutiny. They're also accused of not be able to see the Hamas attacks on October 7th. ISI basically is known how to fifth generation warfare, especially they really know how to do that. Israel mostly is a global organization, Mossad. We are primarily regional so far. And I think now our regional thrust, especially since we are thrust in the Middle East, we'll have to expand that. Now we start getting into exactly what are these organizations. Mossad is state controlled. ISI is directly controlled by the military. Mossad is publicly accountable, and at times they're taken to task. ISI is operating within complete autonomy inside the government. And sometimes they call it deep state. The budget of Mossad is more or less government review, so it's kind of available. ISI funding is very secretive. And staffing of the Mossad comes from all sides of society. Pakistan, it comes mostly from the military and within very disciplined ranks. So what you're talking about is an organization which has a lot of budgetary and it's very flexible and it's organized to fight a war. So I would say the stack up is pretty much even out. And let's see where that lands. On that topic, you remember the Pegasus thing and the rest with the Israeli intelligence. I'll just give my viewers this thing. Get in the habit of turning your mobile phones on and off once a day. That takes care of any stuff, 99.9% of stuff. If down the road something really bad starts to happen, I will have detailed instructions on how to get rid of it. But do have an IT expert ready, because they're the ones, some of the ones can only be done by experts, but I will tell you exactly what software to use. Okay. Next one, we get into Pakistan Air Force and Israeli Air Force. No, Israeli Air Force is a little smaller than Pakistani Air Force, but the fighter jets are almost close to what we have. However, they have one advantage. Most of their fighter jets, 300 plus, are stealth. Ours are so far not stealth. But I will give you a data point which I saw some time ago. When our JF-17 Thunder attacked the S-400, the S-400 range is 400 kilometers. But where it fired that hypersonic missile CM-204, it was within 200 kilometers. So it looks like there's some stealth coating our jets are using. So, good news. The second thing which comes in here, which is a lot of people says, air defense. Now we can get into that too, but at this stage, I would say I want to skip to the next step. A lot of people say, Israeli has a lot of what you call electronic ASAR radar, electronic warfare capability, and battlefield tested, and all that stuff. And I grant that. Israelis are very innovative, extremely innovative. Not a problem. But I will say one thing to you. At the end of the day, your technology is what you deploy. Now, I will go into, you'll have to forgive me if I look at some of this very technical and I don't have the memory to bring it up. Israelis use AWACS, which is to detect, it's a flying platform in the air, and because it's up there at 30,000 feet or 25,000 feet, it can see very far, and it can detect aircraft. They have what is called the Falcon. It is about 2 decades ago, this one's come out with. It was an L-band active electronically scanned ASAR radar. It's a conformal array. 6 panels, 360 degrees, can detect up to 370 kilometers, 200 miles, and track 100 targets. Okay. And mostly just like any AWAC, early warning targeting. What we are getting, or what we have already, is a KJ-500. It's a fixed dorsal radome, allowing 360 degrees. These can detect fighter jets up to 470 kilometers. So we can detect them about 150 kilometers before they can see us, and also capable of tracking 60 to 100 at any one time. This is an advanced radar system. It excels at detecting stealth aircraft, hypersonics, and low-altitude cruise missiles. So there goes the Israeli, you can't see me, the hide and seek. They can't even do peekaboo. We get them. Okay. And this one can stay airborne up to 12 hours. Not bad. Now you want to get into something really drastic. China has a new one coming, and I hopefully will be getting that soon. KJ-3000. This is an ASAR radar with gallium nitride. What's gallium nitride? It's a semiconductor technology which only Chinese have because they're the only ones with gallium. And this has two back-to-back arrays. You can't jam this thing at all, can't do anything with it. 360 degrees. And reportedly detects up to 1,000 kilometers and stealth target up to 360 to 400 kilometers. Okay? And it's very long range and can be refueled halfway through. Okay. Now let's get into the issue that we get to see them first. But okay, then what? Well, then the really issue is in air warfare is see first, fire first, kill first. Israelis have done very good in integrating operationally across. Now, what operational means, they can put the AVAC and the jets and some sensors from the different jets all into one network. Pakistan is way beyond that. We base the ground-based radar, the satellites, everything in one huge. Israelis still have to use a jet to guide the missile there. We don't need to. We can fire off one platform, detect from the satellite, and guide it by an AVAC to the target. It's called the kill chain. That is what the new operational warfare tactic which Pakistan has invented. And we are ahead of anybody else in this world on this one. And we do have battlefield experience. So people are coming to learn from us. Secondly, Israeli BVRs are the same as Americans. Oh, very high technology. Yes, but only 100, 120 kilometer range. Saudis BVRs are 60, like the Americans only gave them 60. Our BVRs are 300 kilometers. PL-15 coming, PL-17 coming, 400 kilometers. And the next one, PLXX, 800 kilometers. Now you can take a guess who's going to win on that one. Okay. Now with that, what I want to do is I will get our host, Sher Bano, with us. And Sher Bano,
Assalamu alaikum,
welcome.
sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much. All right, so the discussion was basically about the Pakistan-Saudi Pact, China's backing, and US pressure on India. All highlights how quickly the regional chessboard is changing. So really interesting. Let's come towards the point that you discussed in your introduction, the Air Force balance. Pakistan has more aircrafts, Israel has better ones. But in a real conflict scenario, what do you think, quantity or quality, who will decide the skies?
I think initially, we'll be looking at it right now, Israelis will have a slight edge because of their stealth. Most of their 2 to 100, 300 of them are stealth F-35s. So you can't deny that that's a very effective platform. However, what I've just showed you with our kill chain, we can hold our own. So both sides are going to inflict damage on each other. Okay. However, according to where the Mr. Zardari is, where they are making J-20s, and where he's gone, where they're making KJ-3000s, and where they're going to be going J-35s. I anticipate with China supporting us publicly on a regional role, which is pivot state, I would imagine soon they'll be transferring at least a squadron, which is 20 J-20s, maybe up to 40, and maybe additional 20 or J-10, not C-Ds, which is even more potent, and backing it up with the KJ-500 and KJ-3000. So that's going to be a very, very fantastic combination. Another area where I said we are weak in is air defense. Yes, we need to add the HQ-19 and the HQ-29. HQ-29 allows us to shoot down low orbit satellites also. So if we have to play this game and China supports us and with Southeast financials, hopefully Pakistan will reach this stage very soon. And
Inshallah.
the real threat from Israel will start after they've handled Iran. Right now, they're
Right.
handful.
So, but on the other hand, let's talk about electronic warfare edge. Israel is a world leader in electronic warfare, but Pakistan is rapidly catching up with the Chinese and Turkish help. Could Pakistan neutralize Israel's technological lead in a conflict scenario?
The key is electronic warfare is AWACS. And with the KJ 3000, the KJ 500, there's nothing the West or America or Israel has to match that. So once they are deployed, I think then we can talk about scientific things in the lab in Israel. There was something there, and the mouse got out, and it had 3 legs or 4 legs or 5 legs. But in the deployed stage, technology stage, China is a generation ahead of the West. With gallium nitride semiconductors, they are definitely a generation ahead. And we are using their platforms for our armed forces. So once we get those, we'll be ahead of them.
All right. So let's come towards Israel. Israel's isolation, basically. Despite its advanced military, why does Israel remain diplomatically isolated? And it is forced to rely on strikes instead of diplomacy. What would you comment on that?
In diplomacy, they have to give a 2-state solution. They are on a different agenda. They are on a religious agenda to make greater Israel. And to make greater Israel, for that, they need to conquer more territory. For that, they have to eat Gaza as well as West Bank, and then they want to go further from there. Okay. Because of that, they don't have any friends. And they have to solve every dispute militarily. And now, even America doesn't have too much leverage with them. They seem to have a very strong lobby in Washington. I mean, Israel does anything and they support it unconditionally. But I think with Pakistan entry, it'll give America a little leverage. Excuse me, there's Pakistan there, so you better behave a little bit. So that might be something which Washington is looking forward to.
All right. So let's come towards Pakistan and Saudi pact, a recent pact. Does this new pact hint at a nuclear umbrella extending over the Gulf? And how will Iran react towards that? What's the reaction coming from them?
Before they signed the pact, they had the Secretary General of the Security Council of Iran come over and they briefed him. Iran will be apprehensive about it because the Israelis are already saying it's not for us, it's for you, Iranians. So Iranians think that way. One thing Iranians know, with this pact, for them to close the Gulf of Hormuz will be extremely difficult. So they won't be very happy. It closed away one of the big options they had. Probably not happy. But at the same time,
Definitely.
I'm going to ask a question here. Let's take a look at this. Sharbano, what do you think?
Gigi.
What is this BLA stuff coming from Iran and this TTP stuff coming from Afghanistan and these drones supplied by Iran to TTP which are coming here? Would you consider that a little bit more drastic than the defense pact we have with Saudi Arabia? I mean, they're going to stop
Definitely, that's more drastic. Definitely, that's more drastic than the pact we signed. But you can bring better clarity to that issue.
Yeah, we're losing men and the other stuff. And I think we're getting to the end of a rope. And where our Prime Minister said, Afghanis, you got to choose us or TTP. So we go back to the other one. I think we don't have to do anything. I think the Americans and the Israelis will do the honors there. So, anything else
All
on your
right.
mind?
You also compared the Mossad versus ISI. You talked about that. So Mossad is basically famed for bold global missions, and ISI for deep state influence. Which agency do you think ultimately holds more sway in shaping regional politics?
Well, look at it this way. Deep state, I just said it because the internal wing focuses on that, right? But externally, if ISI was not good regionally, you think the Taliban could have won the Afghan war? We उर्दू में कहते हैं ना, हमने इन सब के दांत खट्टे किए हैं, from Raw to the Americans, to the Brits, to the Russians, to the Israelis. हमने इनके दांत खट्टे करके रखे हैं. We defeated these people, but that was our backyard. Now the whole question is, how do we do in the whole region? So we know how to deal with them. They're not new for us. Okay. Secondly,
Exactly.
we have entry into these states because of our religion. They have a trouble getting entry in. Like the latest Mossad said in Iran, oh, we're using women. I mean, they're down to the state for them to penetrate. Personally, these people are using women.
Exactly.
Okay. But it's effective. Use of women is very effective. I mean, they call
Definitely.
I'm not kidding. They're really tough cookies, women. I mean, you can't discuss it. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know,
All right. Thanks for bringing the clarity to the current issues, and it was really informative. So thanks for bringing me in. All
pleasure.
yours.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. Signing off. Allah Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz and end of the